Are you sitting comfortably? Are you sitting comfortably? Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin.
And now for something completely different.
What's happening, dream warriors, dream walkers, psychonauts, trauma survivors, extra super creative types, dreamers? And if this doesn't, if you don't fall into one of these categories, welcome anyway. This is another episode, episode 7 of Decoding My Dreams. We'll be talking about some dreams today, but I'm also going to be talking about some other strange experiences that I don't know what else to do with, so I'm going to lump them in with dream talk. Maybe I should have a separate series for Dave Dreams, but in the meantime, I'll throw it all out here. And just to let me sort of just get organized. So to circle back on last week or last episode, yesterday, I talked about something kind of crazy, which was the hypnagogic entity contact. My video had ran a little long, so I kind of cut that part a bit short and didn't get all my thoughts out. It's a little bit hard to talk about, so it's I get a lot of brain freeze trying to articulate it, but yeah, it was really strange. It's really been sticking with me. I don't have a lot of memories of anything like this ever happening, having any kind of a vision of such a strong personality that wasn't my own. Usually my dreams and visions are very self-focused, but this was very clearly something or someone else. It very much felt like she was hacking into my vision, like as I was falling asleep and starting to drift off. This vision, her face came at me so fast and so loud, and when she said, am I interrupting you? I was just floored and shocked, and it pulled me right out of the experience. Still really don't know what to fully make of it, but if I was hearing somebody else's experience, I'd be very open to the fact that they may have been contacted with some sort of non-human entity is the going terminology for these sorts of things. NHI, non-human intelligence, ET, I don't know what it was. It felt very much to me like some sort of a cosmic grandmother, somebody that was trying to open a line of communication. I think I was so shocked, when she said, am I interrupting you? It's like Ghostbusters, right? If somebody asks you if you're a god, you say yes. If ET download asks you if it's a good time, you say it is, and you listen. So I don't know if this will ever happen again, but I'm certainly open to it and curious to follow this up some more, and I'll definitely follow back on that. Something that did come to mind, though, that I found maybe an interesting comparison, and it was also something I was talking about during the day, maybe related, maybe not, but I'm gonna run with it here for a minute. I was talking online. There's a well-known breeder called Bodhi, and he's quite a interesting fellow who really is into the plant spirit side of things, and he was discussing his salvia experiences and how it was a very gentle, loving water spirit. I thought that was really interesting because I've tried salvia before. It's Salvia divinorum. It's a hybrid of mint and sage that shouldn't exist naturally, but somehow it does. It seems like it was probably some sort of a cultivated variety and used in Central America. It's highly visionary. A lot of people compare it to things like DMT, LSD, mushrooms. A lot of people will tell you it's very dark and scary. So it's kind of an interesting contrast to Bodhi's experience, this loving, gentle water spirit, versus a lot of people's experiences of it being very harsh, being angry, scary, dark. And that was certainly my experience. I did try Salvia a few times, and I definitely blasted out of this universe at least one time. I would describe it as I melted into this string world. I melted into the couch and everything. The whole world turned into colored strings. And through the strings, I found myself transported into what I would call a hive. I was inside this giant hive, and every cell in the hive, there was an eye that was looking out at me. So it was like a separate entity in every cell of the hive. Almost to describe it, it's almost a bit Matrix-esque, with the columns of pods. Except this was eyes. There was an eye in every cell. And I had an overwhelming feeling of not belonging there. And the presences, the entities that were there, were actually quite upset and irritated that somehow I had found my way there. Which, in further reflection, I kind of get it. Like, some hairy dude suddenly shows up in your crib. He might not be very unannounced, without any invitation. You might not be real kind on whoever just showed up in your place. So, I kind of see where that's coming from. And shortly after that, I was ejected from the vision, from the journey, whatever you want to call it. And it felt awful. It felt terrible. It felt dark. It was scary. I was didn't deserve to be there. So there's a lot of reasons for that. It could be just where my mental state was at the time and such, but I think the wisdom that Bodhi had of it being a lovable water spirit. I mean, how I got there, I smoked a salvia, old dried leaves covered in a 15 times extract, however they do that, and then blazing it with a super hot torch. That doesn't seem like something a kind, gentle, loving water spirit would be very impressed by. And I sort of had that corroborated by Bodhi. I mentioned my experience, and his response was to the effect of, oh yeah, if you disrespect her elemental nature, she will smack you down. And I can say pretty confidently that that's what happened in my case. So, I hope one day to grow some salvia and try chewing on the leaves in a more traditional method and see how that experience differs. But I couldn't help think of a similar parallel between my salvia experience and this ET contact experience, if you want to call it that. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't expecting anything, and then suddenly, loud at volume 11, I have this face right in front of my face yelling at me. It wasn't yelling, but I think, I guess if you're going to consider a first contact situation, we can tweak the stream a little bit. We can bring the volume down. We can soften the edges and make it a little less abrupt. And maybe if I'm able to conjure this situation again, I'll actually be able to hang in a little longer and ask some questions and whatnot. Is it potentially the salvia goddess coming at me now that I'm more enlightened to her awareness? I kind of don't think so. This seems like something different from another place, but I don't know that it isn't all connected, and it all certainly is a mystery. Yeah, so that's a little salvia talk. I mean, that's waking trips, journeys, same place as dreams. I don't know. It's hard to say. So it takes me to my second topic tonight now, the Clairolfaction experience, psychic smelling, I guess you could say. Clairolfactory. I don't remember if I'm saying that right or not now. In any case, I've been smelling things that aren't there lately, and it's a bit of a trip. I think a lot of people, there are sort of common examples of this, like you might smell a perfume that's not there. It might maybe often reminds you of a past loved one. I think those types of experiences are somewhat common. A couple weeks ago, I had a very strong smell of wood smoke, like fire smoke. I went searching around my house. Couldn't find any sources. There were no fires. I went outside. It didn't smell like there was a fire outside, so it was really strange. Came back inside, went on the news, and then there was a story about a fresh LA fire that had just broken out. So that really sort of gave me pause. And I've been having a lot of these weird little smell experiences. I never thought that I could have a psychic smell, but it keeps happening. So last night, it was just before dinner, and I got a very strong smell of natural gas. So much so that I went downstairs, I checked the furnace, I checked the hot water heater. There were no smells in the basement. There was no sign of any gas leak. Came back into the room, couldn't really smell it again. So I started trying to have my dinner, but I was really struggling to control my nerves. I was starting to get deregulated. Went back downstairs again to ease my mind, because the furnace had clicked on again. So I went and checked the furnace again, checked the hot water heater, no smells. All right, I guess it's just in my head. I don't know. Back upstairs, do my best to finish dinner. I couldn't really calm my mind, and then I kind of got a little worse off, had a little bit of a panic attack, and had to sort of go into grounding mode. After I sort of checked the furnace one more time, I was trying to calm myself down. I went online and I opened the news, and arguably news website isn't the best idea when you're trying to calm down a little bit, but it seemed like a distraction. Front page center, the first story at the top, across town, there was a robbery. A truck smashed into a plaza for a jewelry store heist, and they broke a gas line. So the whole plaza had to be evacuated due to the gas leak and unsafe situation. Alarm bells are now going off in my head, like that's what I'm smelling. I know that sounds crazy. Why would I be smelling a gas leak across town that has no relevance to me? That's a very good question. Do I think it happened? Yeah, I do kind of think it happened. I think there could be something to psychic smelling. What the purpose could be, I really don't know. I mean, it's not something that I can do anything about. It's not something that I could have stopped. I was in no danger myself. So yeah, I don't know what the reason is, other than just a sign in synchronicity to how strange things can be, and I don't know. I really don't know what to do with that. But yeah, psychic smelling. So I'll speak more on that if it happens some more. But I don't think anyone was hurt in the robbery gas leak. So that's good. So now to my last topic for this download. I'm going to talk about it's a dream. So this didn't actually happen. It was pretty intense though, so I want to give a little bit of a trigger warning right now. It was about an accident. It was about a tragedy. If you don't want to hear it, now is probably a good time to check out, and I totally understand. So yeah, the situation was, this happened this morning. When I woke up from it, I felt really awful. It was really heavy, and I haven't really been able to stop thinking about it since. There's not much to it, but yeah, so I was standing out front of a grocery store. And then I turned, and a car had just hit a grocery cart, except there was also a child involved. The child had been struck and was flat on the ground. Was no longer alive. He'd been killed by the car accident. People were coming from the parking lot to, they were trying to revive him, but I mean, he was like literally flat like paper. So there were a bunch of people around, and then as I saw this, I became overwhelmed with emotion. I kind of turned away from the scene, and I just started throwing up. I couldn't control. I think just the emotions were so powerful. I just started throwing up all over the place. I guess it was like, like a police show or something like that, when the newbie sees the crime scene for the first time, and you have that gut reaction. I woke up. I felt terrible. It was a dream that really stood out. It wasn't just a mundane artifact from my day. I don't know. Maybe it's still too raw and intense for me to decode it per se and come up with a meaning. I've been kind of avoiding the news a little bit. I'm really afraid that it could have been a precognition, and maybe I was tuning into somebody else's situation. I hope that's not the case. All I can do is pray that it didn't happen and it was just a dream, and something that may yet to reveal itself or make more sense. So yeah, that's the last day and a half, 2 days. It seems like the more I look at these experiences and phenomena, the more they seem to be happening. It's almost a bit of the Band-Aid. Once you rip the Band-Aid off, I guess it's not really like that at all, but when it rains it pours. Maybe that's a little more accurate. I don't know. In any case, that's all I have for today. Thanks for listening, and until next time.
I'm only sleeping.